will say, oh, okay, this is a threat at the border and we don't want collateral damage, but the law is the law. The Constitution of Nigeria does not give him powers to deploy troops, as he has done, to go to another country with Nigerian resources, whatever the justification may be. However,
a Nigerian Air Force turboprop light attack aircraft taking fire from the ground in Benin Republic in what appears to be an aerial bombardment of revolutionary soldiers holed up in a military barracks in Benin Republic. This happened immediately the failed coup was announced by the soldiers in Benin Republic, and Tinubu bragged about this when he posted on his verified X handle on X. He said, "Earlier today, on my orders, the Nigerian Armed Forces stood gallantly as a defender and protector of constitutional order in the Republic of Benin on the invitation of the government. Our armed forces acted within the ambit of ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. They have helped stabilize a neighboring country and have made us proud of their commitment to sustaining our democratic values and ideals since 1999. Nigeria stands firmly with the government and people of Republic of Benin." The aerial bombardment of a military barracks in Benin Republic by Nigerian Air Force was a unilateral decision of Tinubu. He's saying that they acted based on ECOWAS protocol, but judging by the ECOWAS statement, the first one they released, they focused on condemning the coup plotters. They never made any statement concerning invasion of Benin Republic. And by the time they released another statement, Nigerian Air Force fighter jets were already departing Benin Republic. The second ECOWAS statement was released in the evening. So what really happened? Before we see what happened, let's assume that immediately ECOWAS took the decision to set up a standby force to invade Benin Republic, that Nigerian Air Force fighter jets immediately took off from Lagos, which is the nearest city, to Cotonou and Benin Republic. It still means they never waited for the ECOWAS standby force to assemble before taking off and invading Benin Republic. Even under Abacha in the late 90s, when there was troubles in Sierra Leone, he still waited for the ECOWAS standby force to assemble. They took their time to assemble. He didn't make a unilateral decision ordering Nigerian military to invade Sierra Leone, to dislodge Tijankaba and restore John Koroma. No, he waited for the entire ECOWAS countries to assemble before they invaded. So it still shows that Tinubu took a unilateral action against Nigerian neighbors. He shouldn't have done that. This was exactly the same playbook he wanted to use when there was a coup in Niger, but the Nigerian Senate at the time stopped him. The northern senators resisted, saying that they are their brothers. They will not allow an invasion to cause a crisis in the north. Now that it's happening in the south or the southwest, no one is resisting. In fact, Tinubu didn't even bother to transmit a letter to the Senate so that they can authorize an invasion in a foreign country. He just took the action in a unilateral manner.
Béninois et Béninois, bonsoir. Je suis le colonel Tipeui Pascal. Depuis ce matin, nous avons lancé une opération qui consiste à libérer le peuple béninois de la dictature de Patrice Talon et des libertés qu'il a longtemps arrachées au peuple béninois. Nous vous invitons à un soutien massif de notre action et nous appelons le gouvernement français à ne pas du tout s'initier dans les affaires intérieures de notre très cher pays, la République du Bénin.
Lieutenant Tigray, the leader of the coup, urging citizens to troop out in massive numbers and support the soldiers in what they are doing, that they want to remove the dictator, Talon, like he put it. Maybe this was the video that Talon saw and made him to call out for help. He must have reached out to Emmanuel Macron, who in turn reached out to Tinubu. He also asked Macron not to interfere in their affairs. So you can see the mistake they made. They shouldn't have announced a coup without at least having the country in their firm grip. They were announcing closure of borders as if they control the security forces in the borders, as if they control the security forces at the airports where they would have stopped any politician or even Talon from running away. So these are the errors they made. And if citizens trooped out in massive numbers, it would have been very difficult for anyone to bombard them from the air. Imagine citizens filling up the streets of Cotonou. No fighter jet would have dared to bomb anywhere in Cotonou. But because people were afraid, they were inside their homes, that was why it was possible for them to bombard the military base. Tinubu's unilateral action in Benin Republic raises many questions. So Nigerian military can quickly deploy in this manner. Within seconds, fighter jets are already flying over Benin Republic, hitting military barracks and revolutionary soldiers. While in Nigeria, in their own backyard, Nigerians always call for help, but they never show up. They never deploy quickly to attack the terrorists. They never show that concern. So the Nigerian military are this quick to react to situations, only to foreigners, only when someone orders them to do that. And not Tinubu is making the order, it is Macron that is making the order. He also tweeted around the same hour that he spoke to Tinubu. So it means the order came from him and Tinubu transmitted to the military, and the Air Force had to invade and bombard a neighboring country just because of a military coup. They were not in a serious crisis. As a matter of fact, even if they left them alone, the Benin military would have been able to handle the situation. This is simply because looking at the events of yesterday, it shows that the revolutionary soldiers were in a hurry to announce the military coup, despite not getting the country under their control. They didn't arrest Talon, and Talon was supposed to travel to Cote d'Ivoire to witness Alassane Ouattara's inauguration. All the errors they made, imagine only taking control of a TV station and they went ahead to announce a military coup. Who does that? If they truly wanted to remove Talon from power, they should have waited just for 24 hours and everything would have been easy for them. They would have faced little resistance. Yes, many soldiers would have simply joined without putting up a fight. But once he's still in the country, they will put up a fight to defend him. That's how it works. He's their commander-in-chief. After looking at the entire event, how it unfolded, you will see that Tinubu took a unilateral decision and invaded a sovereign country. Yes, he said it was at the invitation of Talon, but at the time Talon called for help, he wasn't in control of the entire territory of Benin Republic. At that time, it was completely an internal affair. It continues to be an internal affair of Benin Republic, but a foreign country invaded in the guise that someone who was partially in control begged him to invade and save him. So this is double standards. Remember, when Donald Trump threatened the Nigerian authorities, issued an ultimatum that they should get a hold on insecurity and stop the massacre of Christians, that if they don't do that, the US will be forced to invade Nigeria and do it by themselves. But instead of tackling the insecurity, they started shouting, you have no right to do that, Nigeria is a sovereign country, you can't invade, blah blah blah. But here we are, they have invaded a sovereign country. So why the double standards? They have now indirectly accepted that Donald Trump, United States, or any other superpower that is more powerful than Nigeria can invade Nigeria without any problems. Yes, they have countered their own narrative. Meanwhile, immediately the news of the invasion and bombing of Benin Republic spread online, an American influencer, Jackson Hinkle, replied to one of Tinubu's old tweets, saying, "President Tinubu, why do you bomb revolutionaries in Benin instead of terrorists in Nigeria? Can't wait until you are overthrown by Nigerian patriots." No matter how you feel about the statement, you can't help but agree that Nigerian leaders are intentional in whatever they want to do. Imagine deploying in this manner very fast to go and save a foreigner in another country, while your citizens always cry out. It's a crying shame. You cannot save your own citizens, but you quickly respond to the SOS, the request of a foreigner. How does that make any sense? The money you are using to bombard these people, the bombs you drop, are all paid by Nigerian taxpayers. So you can't use that their money to save them, but you use it to save foreigners. The other day, the former CDS was saying that one missile or one rocket costs about 150 million naira. That once you drop it, that 150 million is gone.
A medium-range precision missile for a drone, sir, is $100,000. That is about 150 million naira. So once you fire one, 150 million has gone. Whether you hit target or you don't hit target.
Now, who knows how many bombs they dropped in Benin Republic? That's millions or even billions of naira gone. They spent it in a foreign country instead of spending it in Nigeria, where their own citizens are being massacred. So this is the reality in Nigeria. Why would anyone love the country? Why would anyone genuinely be a patriot when you see injustice, you see double standards, you see leaders being aloof to happenings in their own country? They intentionally do what they do. They intentionally allow terrorists to roam freely and massacre Nigerians. They cannot deploy quickly to contain them, but they can deploy quickly in a foreign land. It does not make any sense. There's nothing they explain to you about Nigeria that you will ever understand. They say charity begins at home, but here, charity begins abroad. They like to show others the love they are supposed to extend to Nigerians. They like to show others that this is how it is done in the right manner, but in their own country, they never do anything right. They never get anything right.
This offense Tinubu committed yesterday amounts to impeachment. And who is going to do that? When I first listened to Dr. Abati this morning, he was arguing with, try to relate it to the issue at hand, this insecurity at hand, that Donald Trump want to invade, not even invasion, Donald Trump want to intervene, say he want to help, giving all that to the Nigerian President Tinubu, that go and solve your problem. And if you fail to do this, I'm going to do it for you. It's just same example, same thing now. So this offense amounts to impeachment. So is Senate President, National Assembly going to carry out this impeachment? Well, and early this morning they tried. If they have succeeded now, that means they would have fought back. They'll fight back. If they have succeeded, if the coup has succeeded after this fight without order from ECOWAS, Tinubu just took that decision unilaterally. If they have succeeded now, that means the military would have fight back. It would have been a problem. Yes, he wants to take action before, he wants to protect his own before the rule of law. Tinubu doesn't care about rule of law. Do you understand? Anyways, take your time, listen to the end of this video first so that you know what we are talking about. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And be your guy, run out for me.
Military quash coup plot in Benin Republic amid growing fears of a military incursion into politics across West Africa. The attempted coup targeted the democratic government of President Patrice Talon and was decisively thwarted on Sunday. Mutineers dressed in military uniforms launched an early morning operation to seize power, beginning with an assault on the presidential residence in Cotonou. The attack was repelled, and failing to capture the president, the rebels seized the state-run Office de Radio Division et Télévision du Benin, taking control of the national broadcast signal.
We say, oh, okay, this is a threat at the border and we don't want collateral damage, but the law is the law. The Constitution of Nigeria does not give him powers to deploy troops, as he has done, to go to another country with Nigerian resources, whatever the justification may be. However, Section 305, so 3, I think, 2-3, offer him, a way out. And that way out is that this morning, as I said earlier, before 12 noon, he should transmit a letter to the National Assembly to seek the ratification of the National Assembly at a joint session. The Constitution says joint session. It may sound legalistic, but that's what our law says. And if the National Assembly joint session says withdraw Nigerian troops, he will have no option but to withdraw them immediately, so as to prevent dictatorship, unilateral use of the powers of the commander-in-chief. That's the legal part. But the Nigerian part is that I like the fact that Nigeria has shown power, even if Talon has not acknowledged what we did. Now, about Atiku visiting President Jonathan, well, I don't see much in that. I mean, politicians can visit each other. And then the issue about PDP. PDP is now effectively a divided family. Where do you think all of this will end? And do you think that Governor Adeleke is right to have said, look, I'm leaving your party for you. In the meantime, let me win my election first. When I resolve my election matters, I may return to your party.
All right, thank you, Dr. Abati, for that, those questions. I mean, this is the finest moment for every Nigerian to be proud of themselves, of their country. What Nigeria did in Benin Republic was very good, absolutely what was required of us as a bigger nation. And of course, the legality of that is, what we'll be debating in a few days. So, well, the Republic sent 2 letters. I mean, what's called note verbal in diplomatic circles. I mean, that's an urgent message that needs to be sent for support, one thing or the other. I mean, myself, I've been a beneficiary of note verbal before when I was stranded somewhere at the Sharjah airport in the United Arab Emirates, and the Nigerian government had to help us out at Arise News here. So what was done was actually a very good thing by President Bola Tinubu. But like you said, the law is the law. And President Tinubu has to actually follow what the law says in terms of what we, Nigeria, as a country have agreed upon in terms of domestication of treaties and the actual power that grants the authority to the head of the executive branch of government in Nigeria to go to war with another country or any other is the National Assembly. And in this instance, you know that this is a coup. There could actually be a counter coup in Benin Republic this morning, and the military that may come on board would declare a war against Nigeria for that act that we took. So it's very, very important for us to know that it's a very serious thing that was done. And as simplistic as it looks like, we have to follow the legality of the law, because if not, it could be an impeachable offense against a sitting president, whether it's President Tinubu or any other one. But what was done is something that actually brings joy to us and shows that Nigeria can still exercise its powers as a big brother within the continent, but within the ambit of the law. And in this instance, we've done very well by following the ECOWAS protocols. You see, other countries were called to deploy troops, but how many were eventually deployed? It was Nigeria that did that. But why don't we deploy that sort of weight into tackling the criminals, the bandits, the terrorists that the country? Because that's what every Nigerian citizen waking up this morning is asking. If we have this power to tackle these coup plotters and restore legitimacy back to the government of Benin Republic, how come we are not using the same that the entire square meters of the Nigerian Federation is within the control of our armed forces, and we don't have anybody, troubling us in ungoverned spaces? Well, I really salute President Bola Tinubu's courage, because it takes courage for you to do that, and then a whole lot of organization. But ECOWAS needs to really, take a critical look at this and see how Nigeria will benefit from what we have done. Because, Dr. Abati, the major challenge I have with these West African countries, especially the Francophone countries, is that they don't give us our dues. Like you have said now, when it comes to voting Nigeria at the UN or other international organizations, you'll be surprised that Benin Republic will vote against us. They refused to acknowledge what we did. I mean, President Patrice Talon did not even acknowledge President Tinubu's action, Nigeria's action. They will go and be supporting the French and other global powers, but they'll be kicking against Nigerians or Nigeria's candidacies and all of that. So, well, these are the issues at stake. As to the issue of Atiku visiting former President Goodluck Jonathan, yes, I mean, it's related to what happened to former President Goodluck Jonathan in Guinea-Bissau, which is related to what we are saying. A former president was stranded and eventually he was evacuated. Well, Atiku is going there to go and show solidarity, and it's a very good move. But this is coming too late because Atiku is seeking solidarity everywhere. I mean, Atiku stood as the best person to actually benefit from the PDP-led administration under Jonathan in 2019. If he had supported, President Jonathan very well, then Atiku was too overambitious that he went and joined forces with the APC, that's Tinubu and Buhari, in 2013, 2014, and eventually they skimmed him out. So Atiku has lost out of that game. Now he's trying to build a new alliance with Jonathan and others. And Jonathan will just be laughing at this moment now what is happening. But it's good that politicians are coming together and trying to build momentum. I will ask former President Goodluck Jonathan to see how he can accommodate him and all of that. But ahead of the 2027 general election, it's going to be a very tight race. But he should understand that, just like we've said, I mean, it's a signal to people like Wike too. The APC has a policy of cutting politicians, using them to win elections, and then they will dump them. I just hope that's not what will happen in the ADC too. Now, when we come to the issues of the PDP, yeah, the PDP, the calls for a constitution of National Caretaker Committee, very, very excellent submission by the likes of Saraki and all of that. But where's the legality? There's nowhere in the PDP constitution that you can have a national caretaker committee. You only have provision for state caretaker committee, where the National Executive Committee or the National Working Committee can impose a caretaker committee on the state or local government, but not at the national level. So where's going to be the legality? That's a major challenge. As good as it sounds, I think the best thing would be to actually plead with FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to see how he can come together. If he truly loves the PDP, to work to see how we can, solve all of this. And for Tanimu Turaki, SAN too, he's a senior advocate of Nigeria, to see how he can truly reconcile the party. Because the idea of going to, issue expulsion certificate to Nyesom Wike and all of that is totally uncalled for. You need a party to be able to stand on firm ground. Then you now run the party, in such a way that you'll be able to stand as a credible opposition to the APC. But as it stands right now, unfortunately for them, the tenure of Damagun and Samuel Ayenwu has come to an end. What can only say PDP now is a total reconciliation. Not all of this that's happening, because the legality of even the current Turaki-led NWC is in question. Unfortunately, there's no provision for a National Caretaker Committee. So PDP is in limbo. Adeleke is right to say he wants to go to accord and all of that. But what of Adeleke himself going? Don't forget that he purchased a form under PDP. Does the INEC guidelines, the electoral act, does it allow you to contest in two political parties? Well, I think they are waiting for him, because if he does get that ticket, it may be disqualified actually.
Interesting times in this. So now, so many things to dissect. But thank you so much for your time with us this morning. I believe you touched on all the three headlines.
What do you think? After this explanation, do you still think Donald Trump needs a Tinubu order, or he needs to pass through whatever process because we are a sovereign nation? Do you still think Donald Trump needs this order clearance from Tinubu or from before he intervene in this country if it result to invasion? Or what do you think? I just see, because this is a serious offense. And if these people have succeeded, it would have been a problem. Then by now, maybe Nigeria versus Benin Republic would have been on a fight mission. Now, the major issue here is, if Nigerian military is this powerful, only God knows how many of these bombs they released that yesterday. So what stops Nigeria not to do the same thing to Sambisa Forest? What stops Tinubu not to evade this Sambisa Forest where there is problem? Because now look at it this way. When you lose, okay, take this example for instance. The last time they asked Bayo Onanuga, that like person, when they rescue the 38 worshipper from Kwara State, after they rescued them, they asked this man, what was the techniques, how managed you guys able to rescue these people, but no arrest was made at that time? What happened? What did you guys do? This man said they only called them. He said they called them to release these people because of the president. They understand the consequences if they do not release them. They know what happens. That was the only thing. And again, they do not arrest these people. They don't need to confront them. They don't need to exchange guns with them because of the people. The victims might not be people. The victim might be affected. Why try to rescue them, try to fight at the same time? So they need to first of all rescue these people so that it will not affect, if they want to exchange gunfire bullets, so that it will not affect innocent people. Now, the military base in this Cotonou yesterday, only God knows how many of these bombs they released that yesterday. Were you guys thinking about the innocent people this will affect before you took that decisions? If you can take decisions, your decision is you don't want it to affect innocent people while you try to rescue. So you were not thinking about the innocent people this might have affected that yesterday, but you decided to do it. Which one is more important and more serious? Because these people were not at war. Even if military take over, it's not as if they are at war. No. So what is our different? That's the question that a lot of people have been asking since yesterday. It was easy for this man to swiftly make order these people to swing into actions to go and intervene to restore normalcy. But here in Nigeria, in our country here, we cannot solve the problem. That means something is wrong fundamentally. Something is wrong. And what do you think? Please share this video, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guy. Run out for me now.